My name is Anita Carrillo. I'm 28 years old, and for most of my life, I thought my family loved me unconditionally. They thought I would stay quiet. They crossed a line involving my child. What happened after changed everything. The restaurant was one of those upscale Italian places where the menu doesn't have prices and the waiter describes each dish like he's reciting poetry. My parents had chosen it. They always chose restaurants like this when they wanted to make an announcement. Good news came with expensive wine. Bad news came with the same wine, just more of it. Tonight, judging by the second bottle Dad ordered before appetizers even arrived, this was going to be bad news. My 7-year-old daughter, Sofia, sat beside me in her favorite purple dress, the one with the sparkly unicorn on the front. She was coloring on the paper plat mat the hostess had given her, completely oblivious to the tension radiating from across the table where my parents sat with my older brother, Marcus, and his wife, Jennifer. "So," Mom said, setting down her wine glass with that bright, brittle smile she wore when she was about to say something she knew I wouldn't like, "we have some exciting news to share." I took a sip of my water, bracing myself. "Marcus and Jennifer are expecting," Dad announced, reaching over to clap my brother on the shoulder. "We're going to have another grandchild." I smiled, genuinely. Despite everything, I did love my brother. "That's wonderful. Congratulations, you two." Jennifer beamed, her hand instinctively moving to her still flat stomach. "Thank you. We're over the moon about it." 16 weeks along, Marcus added. "We wanted to wait until we were past the first trimester to tell everyone." Sofia looked up from her coloring. "Does that mean I'm getting a cousin?" "Yes, sweetheart," I said, smoothing her dark curls. "You're going to be a cousin. Will they want to play with me?" "Of course they will," Jennifer said, though something in her tone felt rehearsed. "When they're old enough." Mom cleared her throat. "Actually, that's part of what we wanted to talk to you about, Anita." And there it was, the other shoe hovering in the air, about to drop. "We're planning a big announcement party," Dad said, 3 weeks from now. Family, friends, colleagues. Jennifer's parents are flying in from Boston. We're thinking about 150 people. "That sounds lovely," I said carefully. "We'd like you to be there, of course, both of you, but we need to discuss something first." The way she said discuss made my stomach knot. In our family, discuss was code for "we've already decided and now we're going to tell you why you have to go along with it." Marcus shifted uncomfortably in his seat. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "The thing is," Dad began, then paused to take a long drink of wine. "Jennifer's family is, well, they're very traditional, old Boston money, if you know what I mean." I didn't know what he meant, or rather, I was afraid I did. "They have certain expectations about appearances and family presentation." My hand tightened around my water glass. Jennifer spoke up, her voice apologetic but firm. "My parents are very involved in social circles, charity boards, country clubs, that sort of thing. Their network is important for Marcus's career advancement." "What does any of this have to do with me?" I asked, though the answer was already forming, cold and sharp in my chest. Dad leaned forward. "Anita, honey, you have to understand. Jennifer's family is, well, they're not used to seeing—" He gestured vaguely at my face, at Sofia. "They're not accustomed to diversity," Mom supplied, as if that word made it better. The restaurant noise faded to a dull roar. I heard my own heartbeat, loud and insistent in my ears. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" My voice came out steady, which I was surprised because inside I was crumbling. "We're not asking you to do anything unreasonable," Dad said quickly. "We just thought maybe for the photographs, you and Sofia could stand in the back, or maybe behind some of the taller guests. You'd still be in the pictures, technically, just less prominent." "Less prominent?" I repeated flatly. "It's not about you," Jennifer said, and she had the audacity to reach across the table like she was going to take my hand. I pulled back. "It's about making a good impression. This party could open doors for Marcus's career that have been closed for years." And my face would close those doors? That's not what we're saying, Mom interjected. You're being overly sensitive. Sophia had stopped coloring. She was looking up at me with those big brown eyes, not understanding the words but sensing the emotion behind them. 7 years old, and already learning that some people would look at her beautiful face and see a problem to be managed. Let me make sure I understand, I said, my voice low and controlled. You want me and my daughter to attend this party, but to hide, to make ourselves small and invisible, so that Jennifer's racist family doesn't have to see that their precious bloodline is going to be connected to brown faces. Don't make this about race, Dad said sharply. This is about family unity and supporting your brother's future. My future that you've always been a part of? Marcus said, finally speaking directly to me. Come on, Anita, don't make this into something it's not. It's one party, a few hours. Is it really that big a deal? I looked at my brother, the same brother who used to defend me in high school when kids made jokes about my dad's Mexican heritage, the same brother who had held Sofia when she was born and cried because she was so perfect, the same brother who was now asking me to hide my daughter's existence because her brown skin might make her in-laws uncomfortable. Maybe it's best, Dad said, his voice taking on that placating tone he used when he was trying to smooth over conflict. You keep your face hidden when we take the family photos, just the formal ones. You can be in all the candid shots. The words hung in the air like poison. Keep your face hidden? As if my face was something shameful, as if Sophia's face was something to be ashamed of. I need to use the restroom, I said, standing abruptly. Sophia, come with me. But I'm not done coloring. Now, baby. I took her hand and walked away from the table, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall in front of them. In the bathroom, I locked us in the handicapped stall and pulled Sophia close, pressing my face into her hair. Mama, why are you shaking? I'm just cold, mija. Are you mad at Grandpa? I pulled back to look at her, this perfect, beautiful child with her father's eyes and my mother's smile and skin the color of warm honey that some people apparently needed to hide from photographs. No, baby, I said, but Mama needs to make a phone call. Can you wash your hands for me while I step outside? Okay. In the restaurant's entryway, I pulled out my phone with trembling fingers. There was one person who would understand, one person who had warned me about this exact scenario years ago. My ex-husband, Daniel, Sophia's father, the man my family had never fully accepted, despite his Harvard education and successful law practice, because his last name was Okafor and his parents had emigrated from Nigeria. The phone rang twice before he picked up. Anita, everything okay? No, I said, my voice breaking. No, it's not. Daniel, I need your help. What happened? I told him everything, the party, the request, the casual cruelty of it all. When I finished, the silence on the other end stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Daniel? I'm here. His voice was tight with controlled rage. I'm just trying to decide whether to be more angry or less surprised. They want me to hide Sofia. They want me to hide our daughter like she's something to be ashamed of. What are you going to do? I looked back toward the dining room where my family sat waiting for me to come back and play along, to be understanding, to make myself small. I don't know yet, I said, but hiding isn't going to be part of it. What I didn't know then, what I couldn't have known, is that this conversation would set in motion a series of events that would expose not just my family's prejudice, but secrets they'd been keeping for years. Secrets about money, about inheritance, about who really controlled the family trust that my grandfather had left behind. By the time I was done, they'd wish hiding faces in photographs was the worst of their problems. But that night, in that bathroom, all I knew was this. I was done being quiet. I was done making myself small, and my daughter would never, ever learn. Before we continue with what happened next, if this story is making your blood boil like it did mine, smash that like button and subscribe because families like this need to be exposed. Now, let's talk about revenge. Daniel arrived at my apartment 40 minutes later with a leather briefcase and the kind of calm, focused energy that had made him one of the most successful civil rights attorneys in the city. Sofia was asleep in her room. I'd put on a movie and held her until she dozed off, whispering promises that I wasn't sure yet how I'd keep. Promises that she would never have to hide, that her face was beautiful, that Mama would fix this. "Show me the trust documents," Daniel said, settling onto my couch and opening his briefcase. "What trust documents?" He looked up at me with an expression that was almost pitying. "Anita, your grandfather left a substantial estate when he died. I did the research years ago when we were married, remember? You were supposed to inherit a significant portion when you turned 30. That's next year." My mind spun back. Grandfather Carrillo had died when I was 19, before I'd met Daniel. There had been a will reading, but I'd been in college and my parents had told me it was just formalities, that everything was taken care of. My parents said the estate went to them, that Grandpa left everything to his children, not his grandchildren. Daniel's jaw tightened. "Did you ever see the actual will?" "No. Should I have?" "Anita," he leaned forward, "your grandfather was one of the most successful Mexican-American businessmen in Texas. He built a commercial real estate empire worth over $40 million. You're telling me you never questioned where that money went?" The number hit me like a physical blow. 40 million? My parents, they live comfortably, but they're not rich? Finished? No, they're not, because most of that money is sitting in a trust that, according to public records I pulled up on my way over here, distributes portions to your grandfather's children when they turn 30. He pulled out his tablet and turned it toward me. I saw legal documents, pages and pages of them, with my grandfather's name at the top. "You're the oldest grandchild," Daniel said quietly, "which means you're about to inherit approximately $14 million in less than a year." The room tilted. I gripped the armrest of the couch. 14 million? Plus accumulated interest. Your parents have been acting as trustees, managing the estate until distribution. But here's where it gets interesting. He scrolled through the documents. 3 months ago, your father filed a petition to contest the trust terms. He's arguing that you're financially irresponsible and that the distribution should be delayed or restructured. Financially irresponsible? I'm a nurse. I own my home. I have savings. It's not about truth. It's about control. If they can delay your inheritance, they maintain control over the trust management fees, which amount to about $500,000 per year. I stood up and started pacing. So this whole thing, the party wanting us to hide, Marcus's career? Follow the money, Anita. Jennifer's family connections could help your parents fight the trust distribution. Old money lawyers, judges in their pocket, the kind of social proof that makes their petition look legitimate to a court. And if I cause problems, if I make a scene about being asked to hide my daughter, you become the unstable family member, the one who can't be trusted with a fortune, the one who needs her parents to continue managing her inheritance indefinitely. The pieces fell into place with sickening clarity. The years of subtle comments about my choices, the way they'd always suggested I was too emotional, too reactive, the concern trolling about single motherhood and whether I could really handle raising Sofia alone. They'd been building a case against me for years. "What can we do?" I asked. Daniel smiled, and it wasn't kind. "We fight back, but not at their party. That's what they expect, you making a scene, proving their point that you're unstable. No, we need to be smarter." "I'm listening." First, we file a counter petition. I'll do it pro bono. Call it my gift to Sofia. We'll argue that your parents have been mismanaging the trust and that their petition is filed in bad faith to maintain control over funds that legally belong to you. Will that work? It will when we present evidence of their spending. I pulled their financial records, public information for trustees. They've been taking those management fees and using them for some very interesting purchases: country club memberships, luxury cars, a vacation home in Aspen. That's illegal, isn't it? Extremely. Trustee fees are meant to cover administrative costs, not personal luxuries. We can have them removed as trustees and possibly charged with embezzlement. I sank back onto the couch, my mind reeling. They could go to jail? They could, but here's what I think happens instead. We offer them a choice. They can drop their petition, issue a public apology to you and Sofia, and resign as trustees. Or we go to court, expose everything, and they lose not just the trust, but potentially their freedom. What about Marcus, Janicer? Daniel's expression darkened. Marcus is listed as a backup trustee. He knew about all of this, Anita. He's been complicit in keeping you in the dark about your own inheritance. The betrayal cut deeper than I expected. My brother, my big brother who I looked up to my entire life. When do we move? I asked. The party is in 3 weeks. We file the counter petition tomorrow. It'll take a week for them to be served. That gives them 2 weeks to panic before their big announcement celebration. They'll call me, try to convince me to back down. Let them try. Record everything. Every conversation, every text message, every voicemail. It'll all be useful. I thought about Sofia, sleeping peacefully in her room, about the life I could give her with $14 million, college funds, travel, opportunities. But more than that, the message it would send, that her mother fought for her, that she never had to make herself small for anyone. There's one more thing, I said. The party. I want to go. Daniel raised an eyebrow. That's risky. I want to go, and I want to stand front and center in every single photograph. I want Jennifer's racist family to see my face, Sofia's face, and know that we're not hiding anymore. They'll cause a scene. Let them. You said it yourself. Record everything. If they try to physically remove us or make a public spectacle about hitting us, it only strengthens our case that they're acting in bad faith. Daniel studied me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You know what? Your grandfather would be proud of you. Did he know him? I researched him extensively. He came to this country with nothing, built an empire through grit and determination, and in his will, do you know what he wrote about you specifically? I shook my head. Daniel pulled up a document and read, "To my granddaughter Anita, who has her grandmother's fire and her mother's compassion, I leave the largest portion of my estate. I trust that she will use it to build something beautiful and lift up those who have been pushed down." Tears streamed down my face. Your parents hid that from you, Daniel said softly. They've been hiding a lot from you. Time to bring all of it into the light. 3 weeks later, I walked into that party in a red dress with Sofia beside me in her purple unicorn outfit. We didn't hide in the back. We stood front and center when they called for family photos. And when Jennifer's mother asked, loudly in front of everyone, "Who are these people?" I smiled and said, "I'm Anita Carrillo, and this is Sofia. We're the future of this family." The look on my parents' faces when they saw the legal papers in my purse, that was just the beginning. But that story, that's for another time. Just remember this. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's simply refusing to hide your light to make other people comfortable in their darkness.